landmark of San Francisco. She's a treasure.
Yes, she is.
She is living history. She carries in her heart the stories of all the brothers and sisters, the aunties and grandmothers, and the thousands of children that as they have grown from awkward teens into confident, accomplished adults. There are so many of them here. She's also mentored so many new teachers and helped them join this honorable profession.
I feel so uncomfortable calling you Danielle.
It's okay,
I'll do it once. Danielle, you're an inspiration. Her commitment to supporting students and families is truly unmatched. She gets shoes for the athlete whose sneakers are falling apart, warm coats and clothing for over 7 children who are living in shelters, groceries for families during the pandemic. And I remember she made me drive even to Concord, which I didn't mind, Mrs. Sampson. That's beyond her outstanding teaching and leadership. I would need another 45 minutes, really, to describe her contributions as athletic director, social club director, and physical education teacher.
For now that we want to say a little bit about Danielle is that she is genuine. She's the real deal. I cannot imagine anyone more authentic than she is. What you see is what you get. She has no malice and she has no apologies. And no one brings levity to a meeting the way that Danielle does. Particularly a boring meeting. Her motto might be, you need to volunteer because things go faster. So we want to, again, acknowledge Danielle, dedication, generosity, and compassion for all of us and everyone who comes after us now and forever. We love you so much.
We do.
And now we are going to invite Miss Liz Fierst to the podium.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Liz Fierst. I met Danielle Anderson in 2006 when I first came to Francisco Middle School. Like you, we all know how special she is. We have seen how she's touched the lives of so many, both young and older, and how she's cared for anyone who's come into her life. For me, Danielle has always represented the heart of Francisco. We know how her dedication and commitment show up as a person and as an educator. So it is with great pleasure I name the proclamations and honors she's received from our local and state government offices for her astounding 38 years of service. Danielle has received, and they're beside me here, she has received proclamations and honors from the San Francisco Police Chief, William Scott, Superintendent Matt Wayne of San Francisco Unified School District, State Senator Scott Wiener, City Administrator Carmen Chu, San Francisco Board of Supervisors President Aaron Peskin, Mayor London Breed, and Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi. Congratulations. Certificates and these honors up here. At this time, I'm looking for Mr. Lee. Where is Mr. Lee? Is he checking? Okay. I'm wondering how ready we are, because we're going to do some rotations for getting out for dinner. So let me get the next cue in a moment. But our next part of our program is we will call you by table to enjoy paella this evening. And so remember, there's vegetarian and meat.
I'm trying to find a word to introduce our next speaker. So I'm going to try to keep it simple because I miss her a lot still. She was literally next to my office, and every morning, Miss Lassie always said good morning. So let me start off with that. Miss Sui, if I don't hear a good morning, the day is never going to be the same. Anyway, so I'm going to present Juliet Sui, who was Francisco for over a decade. Please excuse her. Anyway, I'll just let her do her thing.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. If you don't know me, my name is Juliet Sui, and I am terrified of public speaking. So I really didn't eat or drink anything except for water right now. Bear with me. I've had the privilege of working with Danielle, Mrs. Anderson, since 2004. So that was 20 years ago. That's aging us both, I know. I'm so sorry. 20 years ago, this is when it got started. I remember like it was yesterday. I was about to start teaching at Presidio Middle School, where my husband teaches, and this table, half of this table over here, teaches. I was supposed to start student teaching, and then one day, I got a call saying there was an opening at Francisco Middle School. And I was like, where is that? Because I grew up in the Richmond district, so I only knew Presidio, Washington, Lafayette, Alamo. I only knew, right? So Francisco, where's that? Where? I don't know. I don't think I can get there. I don't know how to get there. I'm not ready yet. But everyone that I knew was like, you're ready. Danielle's there. She's great. She's gonna help you, and you're going to do wonderful things there. So I said, okay, I'm just gonna go. That's fine. And then I met Danielle, and she was just like, okay, so here's what we're gonna do. This is your office. This is where you're gonna stay. This is there's some stuff here, but it's okay. We'll just move it over to the side, and then I'll get you into a roll book. And I was like, what is happening? What is happening? But she helped me out a lot. Like, I mean, we were in need of teachers, as we all are now, even. But she did everything she could to make me feel comfortable and make me feel part of the team, which I so appreciate. She always does, yeah. I was still getting my teaching credentials, so I didn't know very much. I mean, I coached, so I had that under my belt. But some of the advice that she gave me while teaching, she said, because I am the way I am, she's like, don't ever let anyone make you cry. Don't let anyone talk down to you. You work too hard at this job to make someone make you feel that way. So I said, okay, I'll just go home and cry. But she toughened me up. As you know, she will make you the person that you want to be. And I'm so glad I took the job 20 years ago. Some other things that she has done is, she just let us on, did the exercises, did everything, and then she's like, one day, just out of nowhere, I wasn't ready, but she goes, okay, it's your turn. I said, what? It's your turn. You need to do the announcements. You need to lead the exercises. You're kidding, right? Okay, I'll try. Let me do this thing. But she, like I said, pushes you so that you can be a better person. And I'm so thankful for that. to make me my husband. And you thought that was just the teaching part. A few months later, the year was about to end, and she goes, okay, so you're coming back next year. I want you to coach softball. I said, what? I don't know how to coach softball. She's like, you'll be great, it's fine. You'll be fine. You're gonna coach softball, and you're just gonna do it. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that. But thankful for my helpers, everyone who helped me out. Now I know how to coach softball. And then a few months after that, softball was done. I'm like, thank God, I don't have. Oh, you're gonna coach track because we need a coach a track coach. I can do track. She goes, I'll go with you. Oh yes, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, so track has been one of the favorites. It's a great time for track. So thank you, Danielle, for like just pushing me and just saying you're gonna do this. I know you had no choice and you just needed to fill a position, but you know, it worked out for the best. How are we doing? We're good? I just have to say, she is the heart and soul of the PE department. Like, she is the ringleader. She is in charge of everything. She was doing athletic director, department head, doing all the ordering, back then, and social club, everything that also Ms. Haggard also mentioned earlier. And thank you, Vicky, for taking that over. She just did so much for the school and for our community.
Yes.
And we will never, ever forget that. So where was I? Okay, so some of the things that that I can remember her saying, just like when we're working, she would say stuff like it would just go so wrong, like a pile of work to do or something, or we just came out of a meeting and then we have to go straight teaching class or whatever it may be. She said, I would cry, but it won't help, so we just gotta go, just go. She always said, I would cry, but what's that gonna do? Nothing, so let's just come on, we gotta go. She always says that. Just gotta keep going and get it done. There's no stopping. Some other things like, you know, sorry, faculty meetings sometimes, and she's, or it could be like students who just can't handle it that day. She's like, it's a comedy show around here. You just can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up, especially in middle school. Middle school, it just happens. You're just like, yep, we're here for it. You know, and then it follows along next when I could write a book about all the things that has happened at this school and through our teaching. So maybe that's something we can think about while we're retired. Write that book. Write the book so we can all take part of it. But yeah, so those are just some of the things that you hear. She says it so often that you're like, you're right. That's what I'm going to take that in. But most importantly, you know, Danielle is kind, compassionate. She's a no-nonsense, let's just make it happen person. She's raised tons of money. She always finds a way to help students, the community. She always goes above and beyond what any of us or whatever, anything that I can do. Like, I don't know how you do it. I just watch you and I'm like, she's gonna do it. She's just gonna do it, because that's Danielle. And no one can do what you can do. You went even with no cartilage in your knees, and you still climbed up those stairs to take roll every day. Because you just did. And that is just amazing. You're amazing. Your strength and your determination is just beyond imaginable. Like, wow. You're like always the first to help, always the first one to be there. You're just so, like, no one could do what you do, fill your shoes at all, because I'm just impressed. I can't. I mean, it's so amazing that to have witnessed so much greatness. And speaking of greatness, the FSN Teacher of the Year Award that is rightfully yours. We all nominated, we all voted, right? We all voted, everybody here voted. So I sent the nomination in for Danielle through snail mail with the stamp and put it in the mailbox. And Felipe sent his online. So it got to them faster. Technology wins. Technology is the direction that we are going, right? That we are in. But either way, Danielle was nominated for multiple good reasons, right? And from your volunteer work, your donation and your efforts and your quickness to get the students whatever they need, whenever they need it, from your teaching to getting students to be quiet in like less than 3 seconds, which none of us still can do. You just have such a command for everything that you do, and we value that. It's just so good to see, because I'm still trying to get that. And I'm never gonna forget our teaching when we taught like our square dancing. I don't know, does anyone ever teach square dancing anymore? Our square dancing, nobody does it. We use the cassette tapes, rewind. No, that's not the spot. Rewind it again. And I'm like, they have it on CD. And now you don't even use CDs anymore. That's how long ago it was. But I'll always remember our square dancing. Now they don't want to touch each other and hold hands or link arms. So hopefully we can get that back in one day. And we taught swimming, yes. But you're always going to be the teacher of the year in our books. No matter what. And I promise I'm almost done. On a personal note, Danielle, I want to thank you for being my mentor, my colleague, but most of all, my forever friend. I've taken all your advice from when I got pregnant the first time, and you said, don't find out the gender of the baby. And I really wanted to find out the gender of my baby because I wanted to buy so much stuff. And she's like, and I said, well, why? And she said, well, we're getting older and there aren't very many surprises in life anymore. So as long as the baby is healthy, does it matter? And I said, no, it doesn't. As long as, so I took your advice. I waited till MJ was born. He is now going to be like 13 years old, your little boo-boo. Your boo-boo, she called him boo-boo. Boo-boo head. She even came to our soccer because we don't know how to coach soccer. And we're like, Danielle, we need you to help coach soccer for MJ. And she's like, okay, I'll come when I can. And so she helped coach a season of soccer in Daly City. Has nothing to do with nobody, nothing. but she did. And you said, take the time off, take all the time you need. Like, MJ's born, I'll come back in 6 months. She's like, no, take the year if you need. With Kyle, I took off the year. Okay, let me see if I can work that. Okay, I took off the year. And then she's like, if you need to take another year and you can afford it, do it. So I did. Just all your advice, Danielle, just from personal, professional, whatever it is, you've always been right. And I've just followed in your lead. And I appreciate you for that. Thank you. I want to end it by saying it's been such an honor and a privilege to teach with you for so long and to call you my friend, and I'm wishing you the best of luck in your next chapter, and hopefully you get to write that book so we can all read it and you can sign it. But I wish you nothing but the best. Congratulations, and I love you.
Good evening, everybody. A lot of nice words have been said about Mrs. Anderson, and I just want to say before I start, they're all true. And from a student's perspective, it all matters. All of them. Middle school is bewildering. It's frightening. It's funny. You just want to find your place and be crazy and be wild doing so. And there's no better place than PE. As a sixth grader, I entered Mrs. Anderson's classroom like everybody else. I was unsure of who I was, where my place in the world was. That didn't last long. Mrs. Anderson, she's mastered the art of making people feel welcome and that they belong. And especially as a brand new middle schooler that meant the world to me. It made me comfortable in my own skin and helped me adapt to a completely new lifestyle. Of course, once I belong, Mrs. Anderson gave me different tasks to do than the rest of the class. She had me leave class to run around campus and find things for her, deliver papers, go open a door just to realize I don't have the key, go back, get the key, and then go open the door. Thank you. My sixth grade year, Mrs. Anderson sent a postcard to my parents. I still have it. It was gracious. It said a lot of nice things about my character. She left out the bad parts, of course. That letter also said a lot about her character. It showed what a genuinely good person she is, and my family will never forget it. It lives in our house. Throughout her time at Francisco, Mrs. Anderson was there to set us straight, to welcome us, and make sure we belong. Her kindness, tough love, respect, and dignity never made us feel like the animals that middle schoolers are. And even well after I was no longer a Francisco middle schooler, Mrs. Anderson's grace continued to make a difference. As I was looking to complete my Eagle Scout rank requirements, Mrs. Anderson came into work in the middle of summer break and on a weekend to allow me to complete a service project. Without her, a big achievement in my life wouldn't have been possible. Her selflessness shines. So yes, there will be a lot of nice words said about Mrs. Anderson, and all of them are true. But it's your deeds, your actions that have inspired me and a lot of my classmates, even though they may never say it. So I know you're retiring, leaving Francisco, but please know, from your students' perspectives, your work is not done. It is our time to pay it forward, to treat people with kindness, and to make sure that they belong. Your legacy lives through us. Thank you.
I haven't talked to Mrs. Anderson's kiddos, because I'm pretty sure you're still seeing like that. But I can, from what I know from you, I get just how an amazing family you have. So we would like to introduce, I would like to call Kyle to come up here. Sorry, next. So please give it up for her.
That was a little joke my brother and I have when we go to these kinds of things. We like to play this little game where we see how many times I get called Connor and how many times he gets called Kyle. I'm not sure who won yet, but we'll tally it at the end. Hello, everyone. My name is Kyle Anderson. My brother Connor and I are Danielle Anderson's two sons. I drew the short straw to be speaking with you here this evening. I was going to start with talking about how amazing this turnout is, but to be totally honest with you, it's exactly what I expected from my mom after 38 years. I hope my speech isn't going to be too long, but it's going to have two parts. For the first part, I want to tell you all what an amazing mother Danielle has been all these years. My brother and I both feel so blessed to be the children of Danielle and Ian Anderson. I used to think everyone's family was like ours. Everywhere we went, and I really mean everywhere, my mom would know several people. She would constantly run into current and previous students, parents of students, fellow teachers and administrators. I even remember a couple times my young mind being blown by my mom running into parents of current students that were her former students themselves. I would ask, "Mom, who was that?" And she would say, "That was one of her kids." And there I was confused, looking back at the 35-year-old man my mom was just talking about. Our lives revolved around SF athletics. My brother and I were always on at least 2 teams at a time each, with 2 to 3 practices and 1 to 2 games a week per sport each. My mom was also head coach of my soccer team from kindergarten through 8th grade with the same group of guys. This resulted in only about 10 to 15 days of the year in which there wasn't an extracurricular after school or weekend activity. A funny story about that soccer team real quick. When you would get assigned a field, like Polo Fields number 3, for example, right? The parents of the soccer team stopped paying attention to what field number was because you could hear my mom from the parking lot. And it wasn't just sports. On top of that, my mom was incredibly involved in our schooling as well as our social development, taking us constantly from one side of the city to another, from this event to this practice to that friend's house. My brother and I don't have a single memory of either of my parents missing an important event in our lives. I used to think everyone's mom was this way, and I obviously now realize just how rare that level of devotion is. Whatever we love, she loves, and whoever we love, she loves. And I could not possibly ask for anything more from a parent. Now for the second part, I want to talk specifically about the Francisco Middle School and SFUSD family. The reason I say family is because I have not worked a day in my life for Francisco Middle School or SFUSD, and yet I have personal connections, stories, and experiences with so many of you, and yet I'm only connected via family. I'm sure it wasn't actually this long, but to me as a kid, it seemed like the Francisco PE teachers for my entire childhood were Danielle Anderson, Jack Jung, and Raleigh Tandy. I remember how my mom would talk about them, much less as coworkers, and much more as great friends or siblings. I played on numerous sports teams with Jack's son Josh, and I remember going to his daughter Michelle's volleyball games. They were and are such good friends. Raleigh Tandy was the baseball coach. Not only was he the baseball coach, but he was a real baseball coach who played baseball before becoming a teacher. Numerous times, Raleigh would take time out of his life and take me on one-on-one coaching sessions at Moscone for hours. Whenever I got a new baseball glove, I would send it to Raleigh for a month, and he would do whatever he did to make it soft and easy to open and close, like he did for his gloves. I still have all those gloves, by the way, and use them with my family now, and they are still just as easy to open and close. Rest in peace, Raleigh Tandy. He went to this These people were my introduction to Francisco and where Mom works. Back then, I used to think there were two schools, the regular school and the other side of the street, Mom's school. Which may not have been too far off, by the way. As a little guy obsessed with sports, the gym was a magical place for me. Having a full-size indoor basketball court to myself was something from a dream. And I can remember walking into the ballroom or equipment room below the stage and being in awe of all the things to play with. I don't live in the city anymore and haven't been as present in recent years, but I know there's so many of you that I don't know. And my brother and I just want to thank you for being amazing people and being friends with our mom. There's a few people, however, that come to mind who have transcended an at-work relationship and we truly consider part of our extended family. Jack Jung, Raleigh Tandy, Kelly Taggart, Don Collins, John Zlatovich, Juliet Sui, Felipe Segovia, Tony Catalini, Shane McLennan, Ken Lee, and Karen Hadley. Today is obviously a celebration of an outstanding career, but I do feel as though I must mention how we are all robbed of Karen Hadley's presence here tonight. When I talk about family that my mom has at work, there's no better example in history probably than Danielle Anderson and Karen Hadley. She was my mom's very best friend, regardless of anything to do with school or work, and she would have been here speaking tonight. So proud of you, Mom. She also would have been egging me on about how her speech was going to be better than mine. And she would have been right. This was something that they were going to do together. One time, one of my middle school friends told me, "Your mom is the Miss Hadley of her school." And it's hard to explain exactly what that means, but it's exactly right, and quite possibly the best compliment I've ever heard. Rest in peace, Karen Hadley. I do have one story about one of the people who probably worked as hard as anybody to put this whole thing together, Ken Lee. Some of you have probably already heard this story, but there's almost 200 people here, so I figure it's worth retelling. My mom and Felipe spent the whole day one day cleaning the equipment room in the annex building. It was a long and exhausting day. After they finished, Mom went to the gas station to fill up her car, and when she was putting the nozzle in the car, she noticed something on her ring finger was missing. Not the ring, but missing was just the single diamond, vacant from her wedding ring setting. My mom was instantly heartbroken. She called one of her best friends, Ken, just to tell him about what happened and really just to say, "Can you believe it?" Ken said, go back, I'll meet you in 15 minutes," and hung up the phone. My mom called him back several times, but he wouldn't answer because he knew she would tell him just to go home. My mom and Ken went equipment room to equipment room, sweeping the floor and then meticulously searching through dust and corners of each room, trying to find the diamond. Ken swept the entire gym floor, section by section, late into the evening. My mom and Felipe had brought all the trash from their cleanup into the alleyway trash area. Mom and Ken went through trash bag after trash bag, sifting through the garbage with a stick. Now, I don't know about all of you, but I don't think I would spend my evening digging through the trash for any coworker I've ever had. but that's Ken.
Yes, it is.
They had gotten through almost all the trash cans, and my mom was feeling rather defeated. She was saying things like, "It's okay, Ken, it's gone. It might not even be here. It could have come off after I left school." But Ken kept searching all the way up to the last trash bag, where when sifting through the dirt, found my mom's diamond from her wedding ring. He held it up and said, "Danielle, would this possibly be your diamond?" To which Mom replied with an all-familiar classic, "You think?" "Of course it's my diamond." When I first heard this story, my response was, if it wasn't your diamond, you should both quit and just start hunting for diamonds in the trash. The story is significant for a couple of reasons. One is the fact that my mom has her complete original wedding ring, which someday, a long time from now, will be a prized possession of my brother and I. So Ken, thank you for that. The whole story is also just a great metaphor for the kind of person and friend Ken Lee is.
Oh, yes.
Thank you for being so good to my mom and my family. Every holiday for many years, my mom would organize this big fundraiser. Every year she would reach out to alumni, raise money various ways all year long. I remember our garage around Christmas time, not full of a car like usual, but full of rows and rows of large bags. Each bag filled with brand new winter clothes, multiple jackets, pants, shoes. The goal, to give these care packages to the most financially unfortunate youth at the school. My mom has spent countless hours on evenings and weekends going to every Old Navy within 100 miles and beyond, seeking out deals so as to spend the donation money in the best way possible. Many of you in this room have either donated and/or helped with this. And that all sounds great, but it's the method by which these care packages were given that I think is so important. Each student that received a care package received it by believing they won a raffle that all the students had entered, and they were lucky enough to have been a winner. That was a truly beautiful way of giving, with no thank you, no credit given or received. But tonight, Mom,
Yes.
tonight is for getting credit and giving thank yous. So on behalf of all those kids and their families, thank you, Mom. I'll end with one last thing. Most people are not blessed with having their mother at their retirement party. So I just wanted to shout out my grandma, Nola Prohl. Who turns 99 in 3 months. And has been one of my mom's biggest supporters of her life and is so very proud of all 3 of her children. Thank you.
Who told you that story about the diamond? Okay. Okay, I want to play a voicemail that Danielle left with me that day. Okay, you have to listen because it's coming through on my phone.
Oh my gosh.
Listen up. Quiet, please. Quiet, please. Anyway, I saved that from, I saved that from years ago. Anyway, welcome. You know, this party started out as a party of 50. We were going to have 5 tables right in the middle, and it was going to be an intimate party. Okay? 50 turned to 60 to 70 to 80, and today we were too short of 180. Let me ask you this. Have any of you been to a retirement party where there was a wait list? You know, that doesn't happen. It's unheard of. We almost had to turn people away this week. You know, school starts on Monday. Teachers have been back in meetings this week, some last week, and the buzz at all of these meetings was, hey, did you hear that Danielle Anderson retired? Hey, is there going to be a party for Danielle? Hey, are you going to Danielle's party? You know, tonight's ticket was as hot as a Taylor Swift concert. You know, as the numbers rose in terms of your response to this particular party, there were some accusations made, and I'm not going to say who made those accusations, but there were some accusations made that all of you or some of you were bribed in coming here tonight. That you were bribed in terms of coming here. Well, you know, I'm going to have to be honest with you. There's actually some truth to that. There is. SFUSD employees, Prop G, which is now your FWEA, Fair Wages Educators Act. 5 hours. You guys get 5 hours. Enter it into Empower tonight. And Danielle's homework, she's not fully retired yet. Her homework, that she has to approve them tonight. So, you know, I need to make an apology. On the program and on the invitation, there was a gross omission. I don't know why the committee missed it. Where's Amy? Kelly? Liz? I don't know why Danielle missed it. She was the one who requested it. So, there's an after party. We're having a bonfire tonight. And I'll explain more to that a little later on. On May the 1st, I received a text message from Danielle. It says, hi, can you meet for tea later? I said, sure. Sure, she has tea, I have coffee. We met at a bakery on Irving Street. And when I got there, I could tell that she was really anxious. She was like sitting at the edge of her seat. She wasn't on her phone, talking to anyone. She wasn't texting anyone. She wasn't checking her email. She was just sitting there. So I got my coffee, and before I even sat down, she goes, Ken, I need to talk to you. And I already knew what she was going to say, because Kelly, Amy, Liz had already tipped me off. She says, Ken, I'm retiring. It's about time. She goes, you know, I love my job. I'm going to miss it. I've done it for so many years. I love Francisco. But it's really, really time to leave. And I said, when anyone ever talks to me about retirement, I said, hey, it's great. I said, I highly recommend it. But the next thing I asked is, have you looked at the numbers? Have you made an appointment with CalSTRS, California State Teachers Retirement? She says, I did. The numbers are good. I said, wow, great. So then she reads me too well, because she sees the look on my face and she says, Ken, no party. We're not having a party. And I said, why not? She goes, Ken, it's too much work, too much trouble, too much money. People don't want a party. And then she says, people won't come. What a gross miscalculation. She says to me, she goes, you know, I just want to go out quietly. So, let me ask you this. Does Danielle Anderson ever do anything quietly? So I said, we have to have a party. She says, no. I said, yes. I said, no. She says, no. I said, yes. No, yes. And then our voices are elevated. Now we're at this bakery and there's this elderly couple next to us, about my age. And they're kind of looking at us like, you know, domestic dispute, right? And I'm thinking, Ian, where are you? Why aren't you here helping me? So she says, okay. We'll go to Sweeties. So those of you that aren't familiar with Sweeties is a bar exactly a block away on Francisco Street. So I says, I borrowed a line from her. I says, that's a negative. She says, okay, all right. We'll go to Red Jack. Those of you who aren't familiar with Red Jack, that's another bar. It's a block and a half the other direction on Bay Street. So I took another deep breath and I said, that's a negative. So she said, all right. We'll have a bonfire. So tonight, none of you are leaving. We've chartered an articulated uni bus that will pick us up tonight. All of us will board that bus. We're gonna have 3 bonfires. We're going to Aquatic Park, Chrissy Field, and we're going to Ocean Beach. And don't worry, because we have 2 retired SFPD, our former SROs, Val Kerwin and Steve Mathias. And they will supervise. I says, we have to have a party for you, Danielle, for all that you've done. Okay. So anyway, so the bonfire's tonight. Take out your cell phones now. Text your family members. You won't be home until 3 tonight. Okay? Okay. You know, there are certain things in life that just have to happen. Certain things in life that just have to happen. And let me give you a few examples. So when all of you go home tonight after the bonfire, 3, you're gonna go to bed, and you're gonna wake up in the morning, and the sun would have risen. It's automatic. It's a given, right? And if you work, or if you're a student at Francisco, you would have had a sandwich at Freddy's. It's automatic. It's a given. And similarly, if you live or work in North Beach, you would have had some focaccia at the Gurry. It's automatic. It's a given. Now, this next example is not a very popular example, but I'm going to have to share it with you. If you're an employee of the SFUSD, at some point in time, your paycheck will have been filed up by Empower. It's automatic, it's a given. So if you're Danielle Anderson, put in 38 years of hard work for the school district for Francisco, and you've done so much for your students. Do we have students here today? Students? done so much for your families. We have some parents here tonight. Where's Victoria Stein? Hey! You've done so much for your SFUSD colleagues, John, staff at Francisco, other staff. You've done so much for your friends. Where's her friend? Where's her neighbor, Salita, Alvin? Where's the Chico connection? All right, Chico State. And you've done so much for your family members. You deserve a fitting celebration.
Yes.
It's automatic, it's a given. But by the way, during this whole process, Danielle called or texted me a few times, and she says, Ken, we have to go somewhere else. We started pursuing going to a venue where it was going to be about $100 a person. We figured a little too much, and then it dropped down to $75, a little too much. And then we chose this location, and the folks at Tel High, Lester and Ricciardi, Lorraine, part of the Tel High group. We have a number of the Tel High staff here, the teaching staff. So we chose this location, but she says, Ken, it's too much money. Let's go to a Chinese restaurant. So we can save some money. So, oh my God. So I've got to tell Liz Fierce to put together the invitations and everything. She's got to send an addendum that says, okay, August the 15th, meet at the Stonestown Galleria, food court, second floor. We're going to go to meet in front of Panda Express. That's a negative. Kelly, can I check? We're done? Okay, I'm not done. This is a very, very special year for Francisco. It was established as a school in 1924. So this is a centennial year, 100th year. I'm very happy to share an email that the committee received. Let me read it to you. Mr. Guenza, you hear me? Mr. Guenza, you hear me? Okay. Okay, here it goes. Thank you for the upcoming retirement celebration for Mrs. Anderson. It is most deserving for such a great teacher and a wonderful and caring person. She had very high expectations of us and pushed us to do well every day. She treated us all with respect and with fairness, even though some of us didn't really deserve that. During my 7th grade year, she noticed that my shoes were a little worn, actually really worn. I saw her look at them. She never said a word. Shortly after, she surprised me and gifted me with a brand new pair of Nikes. I was so happy. It put a big smile on my face. I'll remember that for the rest of my life. She has visited students in the hospital and their homes when they were either sick or injured. One of the boys on the baseball team badly broke his arm during a game. He was laid out on his couch for 3 weeks. Mrs. Anderson visited him one day at home unannounced and brought him a milkshake from his favorite burger shop. He was surprised because he didn't know that she knew where he lived. She said no teacher or adult have ever gone out of their way like that for him. It made him feel supported and loved. I love having Mrs. Anderson as my teacher. She is one that I will remember forever. Francisco will not be the same without him. By the way, there's Mr. Gwenson? Hi, Mr. Gwenson. I'm just teasing, Mr. Gwenson. There's a postscript. By the way, my great-great-great-great-great-grandmother attended Francisco in 1924. She had a PE teacher named Anderson. Might this be my Mrs. Anderson? I have yet to respond. Can I check, Kelly? Okay, I'm not done yet. Almost. Okay, so those of you that have green and gold blood, we're gonna do the Francisco chant. Okay, and I'm gonna do it quick. And those of you that are not familiar with it, it's really, a dummy like me can memorize it. You can, okay? So it goes like this. Listen up. And then Danielle's actually gonna lead it. She doesn't know that. It goes like this. Afar. No, I'm saying first. You guys know. It goes like this. Afar, F-R-A-N, C-I, C-I-C-I-S-C-O, F-R-A-N, F-R-A-N-C-I-S-C-O. Francisco Middle School, yay! Okay, Danielle, you're gonna lead us.
Okay. Before I leave you, I'm a little worried that a lot of people have left, and I had these note cards with all the tables lined up to talk about how everybody was at a certain table. So when I start doing my speech in a few minutes, I'm gonna need y'all to sit down. All right, here we go. F-R. Oh, we can do it so much louder. Here we go. Everybody stand up, that way your vocal cord will be expanding better. All right, here we go. F-R. F-R. F-R-A-N. C-I. C-I. C-I-S-C-O. F-R-A-N-C-I-S-C-O. F-R-A-N-C-I-S-C-O. Francisco Middle School, yay! Thank you. Okay, am I up now? Oh, God.
Okay, you can sit for a minute, for one more. Okay, for your programs, on the back of your programs, we have the Danielle chant. Okay, now we have some cheat sheets up front, cue cards. We got some former Francisco students. Great. So, great, you got it? So it goes like this. I'm going to whisper it first, okay? Ready? You can look at the back of your program too. It goes like this. Okay. It goes D-A, D-A, D-A-N-I, E-L, E-L, E-L-L-E, D-A-N-I, E-L-L-E, D-A-N-I, E-L-L-E, Danielle, we love you, Danielle, yay! We're gonna do it for real Okay, we have some cheat sheets up front too, okay? We have Brad, Ada, and Julia, former students. Okay, are you guys ready? Yeah. Okay. Ready. Okay, 1, 2, 3. DA, DA, D-A-N-I, D-L, D-L, D-L-L-E, D-A-N-I, D-L-L-E, D-A-N-I, D-L-L-E, Danielle, Danielle, we love you, Danielle, yay!
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lee. Okay. Unlike Miss Suey, I have no problem with public speaking. Okay. Kelly. Danielle. Remember you're helping me. Okay, so I know a lot of people have left and messed up my whole table thing, but I'm going to move on. Okay. Hang on. Your thing got mixed up with mine. Take the papers away. Thank you.
You're on speaker, Danielle.
Oh, I know. And they're all used to it, so it's okay. I have my hot one. Okay. Good evening, and thank you to everyone who came tonight, and all the people that already left. I really appreciate all the speeches. I was trying to think for the last couple of weeks what would be the first thing I said to all of you when I got up here. I am completely overwhelmed with gratitude and wondering why all of you are here. Then I realized it's open bar. Oh dear. Okay. When Ken first started talking to me about doing something, I did tell him I wanted to do a bonfire at Ocean Beach because I went to one last year from a PE teacher. Chris Chang was there with me, that retired, and it was actually a really nice party. But Ken yelled in my ear and said no. So here we are. When I look around this gym tonight, it's hard to believe who I see in here and how grateful I am that I met all of you. I have been the luckiest person in the world to have a job that I have always loved and to work with all of you. For my family and friends that came tonight, thank you so much. I was planning on introducing everybody tonight, but y'all mixed up the tables and some people left, so that's going to be harder to do, but I'm still going to do it for some people. For my family that's here tonight, for my brother and my sister and my mom, I come from a really strong family. No joke. My brother was a police lieutenant in San Luis Obispo for over 30 years, and my sister is currently still a civil rights lawyer in Washington, D.C. My mom, if you ever got the chance to talk to her or learn about her life, was a professional dancer, even though her daughter can't dance at all. And then my mom, yeah, square dancing. And then my mom is also an artist. I do not know a stronger woman than my mom. My two kids, you heard Kyle tonight, and Connor are also here, and I have great kids. I don't know how they got to be great. You know, you raise your kids and you hope you make all the right decisions, and you know, high school's kind of weird. I know people say having girls is harder. Well, I don't know because I had boys, but you know, things happen. You gotta just kind of monitor everything. And then they go off to school, and then eventually they come back and it's like full circle again. They actually like you again. So I am really grateful for the kids I have. My youngest son, Connor, is getting married in 2 months. He met his fiance in high school when they were 15 years old. and they're now 29. So Erica is his fiance, and Erica is the one who, when I do all the bags at Christmas time, hand makes all the Christmas cookies that we give out to the kids. So thank you, Erica. My other son's girlfriend is Gina, who actually did my makeup tonight. I don't really wear that much makeup, nor do I ever really wear a skirt, but I decided to tonight because I was worried Ken would be mad at me if I didn't get dressed up. Gina, thank you so much. For my husband who's here tonight, we just celebrated our 35th wedding anniversary. Or know my story. I met my husband in 1983 when I was 22 years old at a bar in Spain. Yes! And my friend Janice, raise your hand Janice, was with me at the time, and we were backpacking through Europe after we graduated from college. People used to do that back then. And we went to like 13 countries, and we met him and a bunch of his friends in a bar in Spain, and the rest is pretty much history. I know it's not easy being married to a teacher. I know it's not easy having a teacher as a mom, especially in the same district that you're in. But Ian has always supported everything I have done and has never said, oh, this isn't a good idea, or you can't do that. I took a sabbatical and traveled all over the world in 2017, and Ian paid for most of it because the school district only gave me 60%. But anyway, I love all of you and my family very much. Okay, the next thing I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to talk for a while, so you know, if you gotta go, you gotta go. But anyway. There's a lot of different people in this room right now, from when I first started my career to now. But there's a lot of people too who passed away during my time as a teacher. And oh boy, it's hard. So tonight I want to mention Aurora Johnson, who was a math teacher at Francisco. Tell the story of Aurora Johnson because I just have to. So one year, Judy Dumpoli where's Judy? Oh, there you are, Judy. Got Administrator of the Year award, and there was a big ceremony up in Napa, and I decided, not a good idea as it turned out, but anyway, I decided to rent a bus so a bunch of us could all get in a bus and go up and support Judy. And we made these signs with her face on it, and we all hold up these sticks and everything, and we took the bus up there. And unfortunately, Aurora Johnson was lactose intolerant, and she ate something that had cheese in it. And we're on the bus on the way back, and Aurora Johnson tells me, Danielle, we have to stop somewhere. I have to get out. And I'm like, oh God. So, of course, because I was in charge, I had to go up to the bus driver and tell the bus driver, I'm so sorry, we're gonna need to stop, and one of the other people and I are gonna need to get off. And the bus driver says, we don't do that. And I'm like, I'm sure, but we're gonna have a bigger problem if we don't do that. So, Aurora Johnson and I got dropped off. Most of you probably never even heard of this place, in American Canyon. It was somewhere by Napa, and we got dropped off at a Safeway. I walk into the Safeway ahead of Aurora, of course, trying to prepare the people that worked at Safeway for what was about to happen. And I told them that my friend is really sick, we're teachers from San Francisco, and she's gonna need some help. Safeway people moved fast. They got her a chair, they got her water, we sat down, we spent a lot of time in the bathroom. We came back out. The whole time, the Safeway at American Canyon was wonderful. Eventually, we had to call Aurora's son, who came and picked us up, brought us back to Richmond, where she lived, and then her daughter, Ayana, drove me back to San Francisco, where I lived. That is just one story of these freaking crazy people that I have spent my time with. The other person that I really miss is Mary Ann Lyons. And Mary Ann Lyons was a language arts teacher at Francisco. She left for a while, went to the GATE program, and then she came back. Mary Ann Lyons and I were really good friends. My husband Ian played golf with Roger. We went out to dinner all the time. We spent our whole lives together, basically. We were all in a book club together, and I miss Mary Ann a lot. Jerry Pelletier was my assistant principal, and there were never funnier moments than when Raleigh Tandy and I sat in Jerry's office and talked about school. Jerry was an amazing administrator friend. His wife Ann was here tonight, but she wasn't feeling that well, so she had to leave, but I just wanted to mention him. When I started at Francisco Middle School in 1986, I took over for Shane McLennan. Shane, where are you? Shane had a baby in 1986, and I was her substitute teacher for a while. And a few years later, Raleigh Tandy joined us. And Raleigh Tandy was, I can't even really talk about him without just like smiling. He taught with me for 20 years. There was no one like him, and we've shared a friendship that I will never forget. Every single day that I have worked at Francisco Middle School, I have missed Raleigh Tandy. And he coached baseball, and he used to have his Volkswagen, and he put all the baseball crap in the Volkswagen, and he tried to take it out to the field, and Raleigh was a real baseball player. He actually, he tried out, well, we're pretty sure he tried out for the minor leagues, but then he got drafted to Vietnam, so he never made it into the minor leagues, but he was this baseball coach that, like, he really knew baseball. And he just hated it when the kids didn't know how to play baseball. He'd spend hours and hours, like, teaching them baseball. And I thought about Raleigh, this was like back in the 80s, and I thought about Raleigh when the second to last day of school, just this last year, some kid was doing something weird, so I just said, knock it off, whatever. And the kid said to me, okay, but I'm gonna need some time to process this. And I think about 20 years ago when Raleigh worked with me, and if some kid had said to Raleigh Tandy, I'm gonna need to process this, oh Lord, it just wouldn't happen. I also meant to start my conversation off when I talk about all the kids that are here tonight. I know kids isn't the politically correct term anymore. You're supposed to say students or youth. But when I started, I always called you guys kids, and you will always be the kids to me. There are like so many kids in here right now that I have and that I love. Even my oldest student who is here tonight. Sorry, Arnetta. I'm going to talk about you in a minute, but that term for me is like a term of endearment. It is not a term that means anything other than I love you guys so much. So, Raleigh Tandy's wife is here tonight, and Lori, it means the world to me that you came tonight. I love Raleigh with all my heart, so thank you so much for coming. This next one is also very difficult. And there's a group of PE teachers over here who, actually I can just introduce most of them now. Brian Chang and his wife, Brian Chang's at Roosevelt, Corey is at Viz Valley, Cynthia Harb is at Marina, Leslie Burleson, Sharon Chang are at Presidio, Chris Chang is at Giannini. Kristen DeAndres started, I think, 2 years before me and was a teacher at Everett for a long time, and then became the PE middle school administrator, and Shenny Diaz, who also became a PE administrator. All these people that are sitting right there, please give them a hand because they all came from another school. They all knew Karen Hadley. Karen Hadley was, I first met Karen Hadley when Kyle, my oldest son, was 5 years old. She was doing an elementary program at Claire Lillienthal. And I was like, Karen, go back and get your teaching credential. You could become the middle school teacher here because they were starting the middle school up. So I met Karen over 20 years ago. We just hit it off. She taught both my kids, Kyle and Connor, in middle school, and really we became best friends. I have never seen a better PE teacher than Karen Hadley. She gave everything she had to the school, and a few years ago, I worked the best I could to get the gym at Claire Lilienthal named after Karen Hadley, and it was. And I'll talk about a little bit about our crazy district later. But Gentle, are you still here? Gentle? Oh dear. Okay. Anyway, Karen's niece and I, Nicole, who's here tonight, we're at the board meeting just to get, you have to go down and you have to sit and you have to say, yeah, I'm naming the gym after Karen. You know, we got on at 12 o'clock midnight, and then someone came up to us and said, we might not do this tonight. And I was like, over my dead body, because we've been here since freaking 8 o'clock. So anyway, we eventually got the gym named after Karen. Karen, if she had been here tonight, Kyle was right, she would have given a speech. She would have told you stories that probably wouldn't have been appropriate for the students that are here tonight. And she would have been really happy that I retired. And it means the world to me that Karen's family came tonight. Her mom is here. Her sister is here. Her brother-in-law is here. And her niece is here. I love Karen with all my heart, and it means the world to me that you guys came tonight. Thank you. Okay. All right. Moving on. Thank you. All right. I am really proud of the things that have happened at Francisco. I know people talked about the fundraising. I want to thank all the alumni in this community for just putting it together. Once you tell Ken something, he sends something to someone and the whole place just explodes. During COVID, we raised over $28,000 so that I could go out and buy Safeway gift cards so our families could go and get food. There are so many of you that donated in this room right now, and my family is always the first group. When they see it, they always donate. So thank you, Leslie, Billy, my mom, everyone that just understands what it's like for a kid to be in school and a family to be in school and there's no food. They can't go get lunch. They can't get breakfast because there's no school. So I want to thank everybody who has always donated. The other thing I'm really proud of is, I think it was 2 years ago, we all go to a PE meeting. I think it was at Balboa High School. And, you know, someone gets up from Title IX and starts speaking and you're all listening, and they said to all of us, every school needs to have a gender-neutral locker room and a gender-neutral bathroom. And they never told us like how to do it or what money we were going to use to do it, but they said every school needs to have one. So of course I came back, I tell these guys, it was Felipe, Tony, and Juliet, we're doing it. And I'm quite sure we had probably the first gender-neutral restroom and locker room in San Francisco. And let me tell you why that's important. It doesn't matter if you agree with it or don't agree with it, but everything we do is for the kids. If there is a kid that doesn't feel comfortable using a girls' or a boys' bathroom, we need to have somewhere for them to go. We need to have somewhere for them to change into their PE clothes. It's not up to me if I agree or disagree with it. What's up to me is that I'm making our kids at Francisco feel comfortable. I got in my car, I looked up where I could get cheap lockers, I drove over to Oakland, went to some warehouse, found a man in a warehouse, told the man, I need some lockers, I'm starting a gender-neutral locker room. He looked at me like I was freaking crazy. And I knew I was ready for it. So I'm like, listen, I tried to explain it to him. If that's your kid, you want to make your kid as comfortable as you can. That's all we all need to worry about. I don't need to agree with it or disagree with it, but we need to make it right for the kid. Of course, I probably never gave Juliet and Felipe and Tony a chance to agree with me because I was already doing it and they were already on board. They were all helping me. And we did it. The first year, 5 kids used our gender-neutral locker room. Last year, six kids used our gender-neutral locker room. And I am just proud that we were the first school probably to even do it. Of course, I got all the bills. I had to order signs. I bought the lockers. I sent all the bills into Michelle Zapata saying, hey, I was in this meeting, Michelle. You guys told us this is what we need to do. The whole thing cost I think it was $412, just because I always remember how much things cost. And I sent it into Michelle. 2 weeks later, I got $412 back. And I wonder if other schools had been motivated to do it, you guys would have got they would have got the money back. So I'm really proud. I know that locker room is going to continue on for the students at Francisco. Okay, I'm going to tell you a couple stories about a couple students who are here tonight. I forget what year it was, 1990 or something, when I was 28 years old, we had a student-faculty basketball game. And, we always had these games where the faculty always had to win, so you played the hardest you could play. And it was cutthroat, because we never wanted the students to win. And so, of course, I was young, played basketball in high school, was playing, doing the best I could do. I went up for a rebound. And unfortunately, when I came down, oh wait, I forgot the most important part of the story, sorry. Too much red wine, I gotta start in another place. About 7 years ago, a girl came up to me at Francisco and she said, are you Mrs. Anderson? She was a new 6th grader. And I said, yes, I am. And the next words out of her mouth were, you broke my mother's wrist. And I said to her, then I know who your mother is. It's Arnetta Butler. Arnetta Butler was my student. She played on our basketball team. We both went up for a rebound. And when I was 28 years old, I broke one of my students' wrists. Arnetta Butler is here tonight. I'm quite sure her mom wasn't happy. I don't really remember all the details other than probably either her mom came and got her or I drove her to the hospital. The game ended, of course. And Arnetta and I have kept in touch ever since. She's had 2 daughters go through Francisco. There's nothing worse. Arnetta is the only student I ever hurt. I know that sounds terrible, but most of you never have hurt a student before, but it wasn't funny at the time, and I felt terrible. I still feel terrible about it now. So, Arnetta, come on up. I'm really sorry about the wrist. So, Arnetta's daughter, Zari, who's sitting right next to her, is going to be a senior in high school this year. She also played basketball for us at Francisco. So, thanks, Arnetta. The next story I'm going to tell you about is sitting next to Arnetta is Frida Calvo. Frida Calvo somehow miraculously, by luck of the draw, ended up in my 6th grade class. Thank God. From the second I met Frida, I was like, this is a great kid. About 3 months ago, Frida invited me to UC Berkeley, where she is a junior. She was participating in a symposium on something that she was doing at Berkeley, and I thought, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna go. I love Frida. I get there, I walk in, I can see Serena Pond. Are you still here, Serena? Yeah, Serena Pond was there. I look across the room. There was like a bunch of different people that were gonna speak, and I look across the room, and Frida was already up at the front getting ready to be the next speaker or the one after that. And I see Frida's dad, who's sitting next to her tonight. And the second Mr. Huertas and I locked eyes, he jumps up from his seat in the middle of a million people watching this thing, and he motions for me to come and take his seat. I almost died. Mr. Huertas, thank you for just doing that. It made me feel like I was on top of the world. When Frida graduated from Francisco Middle School in 8th grade, her dad gave, I think, most of her teachers a silver dollar. Mr. Huertas, I still have that silver dollar. And thank you so much for the silver dollar. As I eventually found a seat and sat down, I watched little 6th grader Frida Calvo give a speech on how she was helping undocumented students get into UC Berkeley. She has designed her own major. She's graduating next year, but then is going to go and get her master's. I sat there and looked at this kid and was like, of course, I wasn't speechless because at the end, they asked if anybody wants to say anything, and I raised my hand. And I told everybody in the room, I was Frida's middle school teacher. Frida, I don't know if I've ever had a prouder moment for a student. I was blown away by you. On, who was an older student. He was talking about, he had been in prison, he was talking about prison reform, and he's now trying to help people that were in prison get into UC Berkeley. He was probably 45 years old. He thanked Frida. I mean, Miss Pond, wasn't it something to see? I mean, Miss Pond and I, we both walked out later and walked our cars, and we're both like, come on. I am so proud of you. Thank you for inviting me. I know all these people left, but I'm thinking them anyway. Nestor and Ruchira from Tel High, Jennifer Tan and John Smith, if you're still here, they were the bartenders. Gloria Choi for getting the cake. Mr. T for doing the parking lot. Archie Dopillon. Okay. I want to introduce you to some of my friends that are here tonight that have nothing to do with the school and probably wish they had to come by this time. Janice, Tammy, Mary, Janine were all my roommates when I was 18 years old in college. Can you guys stand up? Yeah. Cindy is Janine's wife. Cindy, stand up. Thank you for coming. Peg and Archie Nash, I met when I started coaching my son's soccer team, and they joined the soccer team. They also went to Little Fall with us, and we eventually became great friends. Archie and Peg, thanks for coming tonight. Dan Stores, Stand up, Dan. I know it's hard, but just do it anyway. Dan Floyd was a teacher at Francisco a long time ago. He went on to become an administrator. Now he works for an education program, but Dan is one of my really good friends. Darren and Kathleen, are you still here? Stand up, you two.
Yeah!
Kathleen is a teacher at West Portal. Darren works with the Warriors. And the reason why I know these guys is because these are my son's best friends. They even came tonight. Kathy Shimizu was in a book club with me long after they all retired. Kathy, thank you for being here tonight. Kathy retired as an administrator from Gloucester State. You're not going to believe this, but it's true. I live in San Francisco in the Richmond district. In the houses to the left and right of me directly are two neighbors I have. They both went to Francisco Middle School. I know. Selena, stand up. Where are you? Oh, she's not going to stand up. She's fine. And Hugh, are you still here? Hugh Molesworth? He didn't go to Francisco. He's actually from Australia. But thank you, Hugh, for coming. I know what you're all thinking. It must be crazy to live next door to Danielle. Sitting at my table with my family is June Krug. June Krug was my high school PE teacher. June, stand up. It kind of comes full circle because June is now really good friends with our family and our mom. So, thank you. Mark Christensen, are you still here? Thank God. Mark Christensen was my master teacher at McAteer High School in 1985. Thank you for coming tonight. The next two people I'm going to talk about, I have all these note cards, but I see some people left, so it messed me up, but that's okay. Are Val Kerwin and Steve Mathias. Thank you for staying. You guys don't stand up. Stand up. I know it's hard. Let's do it. Val Kerwin and Steve Mathias were our SROs. If you don't know what that means, it's school resource officers. There was another one that we had started when I first started, Brian Dillahunty. He couldn't come tonight, but if he had been here tonight, we had other ones, but these are my three favorite. The objective of the school resource officer was to get to know the kids, not really in a police uniform, to get to know the kids as students and to kind of, it's hard to kind of explain, but they were there to like support the kids, so the kids could get to know the police officers. There's a lot of really great police officers. Steve and Val, your time at Francisco was unbelievable. You guys are both like the greatest people, and I'm so thankful that we had the chance to work with both of you. Thank you so much for being here. Can I please get, I know you're not going to want to do this, but you're going to do it anyway. Can I please get John Collins and John Zlatnich to come on up?
Yeah!
Because I always used to do that, but there's still time. If you don't know John Collins and John Collins was the athletic commissioner for all of San Francisco Unified, and John was the assistant athletic commissioner. And they did this job for 21 years. Now, in order for me to tell you how this affected me, I was athletic director, unfortunately, for over 30 years. It was my second full-time job. And teachers at Francisco used to say, why are the games starting now? Why are they on that day? Like I was making up the schedule. This is who made up the schedule. All like that. These two ran a program that was unbelievable. They raised so much money for high schools and for middle schools. So many other school districts lost sports because there was no money for them to play, but these two kept the sports going at Francisco. I mean, at San Francisco Unified, always. We never didn't have sports. One year, I had an interaction with a parent. And the parent came to Francisco and informed me 2 inches away from my face, not during COVID, of course, but 2 inches away from my face that their child would be playing on this team. And I told that parent, unfortunately, this is not going to happen. Your child does not have a 2.0 grade point average, and that's one of the requirements. I always follow the rules. We never, in my whole time as athletic director, had a student who played that did not have a 2.0. So while the dad was 2 inches from my face, telling me that he was going to play, I was like, no, he is not. The dad finally threatened me by saying, I'm going to have you fired from this job. And I thought, that would be the greatest thing that happened. I didn't want to do it anymore. He immediately informed me that he would be calling or going to the athletic office to see Don Collins. So of course I called Don immediately and I said, Don, there's a parent coming, you better watch out. He's crazy. Of course, Don said, don't worry, Danielle, bring him on. So I want to thank you. At that moment in time, it was hard, but you have always, both of you have always supported me in this job that I somehow got roped into for all these years that I didn't really want to do. But I want to thank you for doing this job so well. I love both of you. Okay, I did get paid for the job, but okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, thank you too. Now, I know a lot of Francisco middle school parents that were here. I'm not sure who's still here, but I know Serena left, Joe Vasquez maybe still left, Bob McMillan and Anna Dow. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Stand up. They had two great kids, Isla and Gigi, who came tonight to say hi to me. Arnetta Butler, you're another parent that was here tonight. Mr. Huertas, you were here tonight. Victoria Stein, are you still here? Oh, Victoria Stein's still here. Teresa Del Santo, are you still here? Oh dear. Jimmy Mims and Sue Yin, are you still here? Oh Lord, messing up my cards. Okay. That's okay. All right. Next group. No, not them yet. No, not them yet. Okay, alumni. Oh dear. I got the tablecloths. Okay, and I'm going to have to comment on the tablecloths. Because I ordered these tablecloths. Ken told me to get, where's Ken? Ken. Ken told me to get 60-inch round tablecloths. What we really should have got was 90-inch, so they at least covered the table and went over the table. Anyway, he came and picked them up for me. And I said, who's going to be folding 180 napkins, Ken? Ken said, don't worry about it. And I'm like, oh, I am worried about it, Ken. Who's folding 180 napkins? And he said, my sister's going to do it. And I was like, what? Janet, I cannot believe Ken Lee is your brother. Thank you for folding the tablecloth tonight. Gary Louie, who is Janet's boyfriend, has helped me numerous years do the parking on 4th of July and Fleet Week. Gary, thank you so much. I think Amy and Sheldon left tonight, so I'll just them out. Another car come by. Okay, Francisco Middle School students, when you hear your name, you're standing up. Jenny, Jeffrey, Emily, Valerie, Ella, Ada, Joya, Athena, Franklin, Ada, Susie, Jacob, Grant, Rudy, Aaron, Jackson, Lola, Frida, Mario, Norlena, Maya Lynn, stand up. Thank you very much. Thank you all so much for coming tonight. I know the next group that actually runs the school, the front office staff, Rachel Padilla had to leave early. Pearl, are you still here? No, Pearl had to leave. Okay, Tammy, are you still here? Tammy, thank you so much. Unfortunately, Stella couldn't come tonight, but Tammy and Stella were a dynamic duo in our front office at Francisco. Tina, are you still here? Oh, Tina, you better be still here. Shuling, are you still here? Oh, Shuling is still here. Tina and Shuling have both left. Because I'm not returning this year, I don't really know who's there. If there isn't anybody there, I'm worried. Okay. No. Next person I want to talk about he's pretty famous in San Francisco, so we're still trying to figure out who was there before the other person, but we did teach together for at least 1 year. And this person now is athletic director at the Wolverine High School. He runs a basketball camp called Tiger Basketball Camp, and his name is Elliot Smith. Elliot Smith. Elliot was with me for a while at Francisco, and then of course this job came up at the Wolverine High School, and he took it. And he has been there ever since. He is a motivational speaker. He goes around the country doing motivational speaking. I cannot believe you came here tonight to support me. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
The next group I need to read off are the Beacon staff. At Francisco Middle School, Erica Castro, are you still here?
Thank you.
Erica Castro ditched our school a while back and went to work at Willie Brown. I hear Willie Brown has a pretty good after-school program, but it sure doesn't beat Francisco. So for the Beacon program, Lorraine or Andy, please stand up. Jenny, Sam, Chris, Fishman, Id, Rhonda, Nick, Jessica, Johan. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Okay, next one. Teachers who retired or moved on. Moved on means you took a job at another school, but that's okay. All right. Please stand up when you hear your name. Stephen Kirk. Stand up, Stephen. Ari Capro. Ruth Capro. William Hack. Connie Hendricks. Serena Pond. Jennifer Lynn. Kathy Personia. Al Diaz. Helen Denning. Leslie Yu. Jennifer Donahue. Tamar Severo. Nick Bartel. Erica Castro. Stephanie. Marlene and Audrey Gunn. Audrey, are you here? No, Audrey's not. Thank you all for coming tonight. Don't worry, I'm getting through the cards. Okay, the next group. Is current Francisco Middle School people. Please stand up when you hear your name. Marcy Dobbs. Cindy Sims. Doyle Wong. Noemi Lemieux. here. Okay. Benson Wong is here tonight with his wife, Bernie. Benson Wong, come on up. Come on up. Benson Wong first hired me. He was my first principal that hired me in Francisco in 1986. I looked, because my husband and I just celebrated our 35th wedding anniversary. I got, you know how it was on a VHS, most of you don't even know what that is, but anyway. I had the wedding video changed over to a flash drive. Benson Wong and his wife Bernie, who are here tonight, were dancing up a storm at my wedding in 1989.
Yeah!
Danielle, when I hired you, I had hair. And I was a little tall, too. It's been all these years, you know, when I've been asked, how come your school is so successful? Well, it's no secret. You just hire the best people. And I was so smart that I hired you. You had all the qualities to be a great teacher. I saw in you during our interview that this lady is compassionate and she knows what to do and she can teach. But the truth of all is that I hired you because you were tall. And that when we played against the 8th graders, they kick your ass.
Oh, thank you, Benson. Good to know. Okay. Next minute, I mean, there's about 8 of my, you know, I had great administrators over the years. There was a few that were a little bit iffy, but for the most part, they were all really good. The next person is Marion Seiki. Please come on up.
Yeah.
Marion Seiki was a teacher at Francisco long before I got there. Then she left, became principal of different schools and had different jobs, and then she came back to Francisco to interview for principal, and I was on the interviewing committee. I always was, because I want to make sure we got someone normal. But I'll never forget, and I didn't know Marion. She was really good friends with Marianne Lyons, my really good friend, because they grew up together. But I'll never forget Marion, and probably, I don't even know if you'll remember this, but in the interview, Marion told me, or told all of us that were interviewing her, that her name, Marion Seiki, was the most important thing to her in the world. And if she put her name on something, it meant to her that she was going to do a good job because it was her reputation. And Marion, I have carried that with me for the rest of my life. So thank you so much. Judy John Polly, come on up. I have a lot of funny stories about Judy, but the one I'm going to tell tonight is we had an award at Francisco named Judy John Polly Fellowship Award. And during COVID, when we didn't go to school for over a year, we had to do our graduation online. And I don't know how I got the job, but I got it, to go to Judy's house and videotape Judy outside, because we couldn't go in anybody's house, outside, giving a speech. I gave her the name of the student, and we did it on videotape so we could then put that on our online graduation. I don't know when I have laughed harder and louder. She starts off, she had a speech ready, and she starts off, and I'm there with my phone, and the first time she did it, she didn't pronounce the kids' names right, so we had to start over. The next time, a garbage truck went by, and you could hear the garbage truck in the video, so we couldn't do it. Judy was also at Marina Middle School. The next time she said Marina Middle School instead of Francisco. By this time, neighbors were looking at us like we were all crazy, which is true. But I have never laughed so hard. Judy was an amazing principal at Francisco.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people in here who, when they all retired, I was the only one still working. That's not really true anymore now, but we all had a book club, and we were all in a book club together. Mary, Kathy, Mary Ann, Laura, Judy, Dan Storrs is here tonight. We had a great book club. We were in it for like 20 years.
Your son.
And that's how we became good friends. But Judy, thank you for everything you did at Francisco. I love you. I mean, I can't even say his name without laughing. Patrick West. I know he's scared about what I'm going to say about him. Mr. West. I first met Patrick West, and you know, they asked me sometimes to come in for the summer and do this, like, I don't know, something where you're supposed to like learn something and then teach it to everybody or whatever. So I decided to go in, and the next thing I know, Patrick West is sitting down next to me. And he said something to me that I can't even remember what it was now, but it was really funny, and I'm thinking, I am gonna love this guy. Patrick West has a sparkle in his eye that you cannot miss. His enthusiasm for this job and this district is absolutely wonderful. During the COVID year, Patrick West calls me up and says, Danielle, the COVID year that was where we all taught PE, I taught in my garage at home for a freaking year. But anyway, he calls me and he says, Danielle, I need you to do something. And I was like, no, I don't even know what it is, but I'm like, no, I can't do it. And Patrick calls me and he says, I need you to teach an online high school class for the program that he was doing. I'm like, no, I mean, it's just not, I just can't handle it. I don't even like what I'm doing now, never mind doing that. But of course, he kept pushing me. I felt bad for him. So I said, well, the only way I'm going to do it is if Mr. Segovia teaches it with me. So, oh God, Mr. Segovia and I taught a high school class of PE online during COVID year because I didn't want to disappoint Patrick West. For our first faculty meeting, I mean, everyone's going to remember this who was there, Patrick was there. He was there early, of course, because he was always there early. He's got these little boxes, plastic boxes, set up with pens, note paper, like, for each table, and he was like putting them out, and if you like touched one, he's like, not now. I mean, it was like, he's the most organized person I know. And he actually works now with the high school kids in San Francisco who have a hard time graduating, and he helps them graduate. So, Patrick West, I love you. Wesley, thank you for coming tonight to support Patrick. Okay, next person. Oh, and Norm Suey isn't here tonight, but I want to tell you about Norm Suey, who is also one of my principals, and he called me today and he left me this message saying how much he loved being at Francisco and with Jerry Pelletier and Jack Jung and Raleigh Tandy, and it was the best years of his life when he was at Francisco. So I just want to do a shout out to Norm Suey, who couldn't be here tonight. Liz Pierce, come on down. So Liz Pierce, unfortunately I'm going to have to tell you what happened tonight. I kind of blame Ken, but anyway. Okay, I won't tell you. Okay. Liz Pierce was a teacher at Francisco for a long time before she left and went into administration. Her and Jennifer Lynn used to teach together. And one day, Liz and I realized that we both lived on the same street, and she was getting her master's degree at UC Berkeley, so she asked me in the morning, some mornings, if I could take her and bring her to school, and then she would take Bart home after she went to UC Berkeley. So we got to know each other pretty well, all those rides in. Of course, we always talked about school and how there was a lot of weird people during that time, but anyway. And then Liz came back as principal during COVID. Someday, we will all look back on this time and think, how did we make it through it? But we did make it through it. And one of the reasons we all made it through it was Liz Fierce. It was an extremely difficult time to be an administrator, to deal with everything that was going on, but she did it with so much grace. We would go into school, we would wear masks, we would get dressed up to give out things to the kids at the beginning, books and whatever they needed. Liz was always down there every time some of the teachers volunteered to go in and do it. So Liz, I appreciate all the hard work you have put into Francisco. Thank you so much, I love you. Patricia Thiel, come on up. So the year Patricia Thiel was principal at Francisco, I wasn't there. It was the year I decided to take my wonderful and amazing sabbatical. If I can just say for one moment, if any of you ever get the chance to do it and you can actually afford to do it, oh my gosh, go do it. So I missed the year that Miss Thiel was principal there. Nevertheless, I kept in contact with the school. I still got 60% of my pay. And, well, that's what the sabbatical is. But I want to thank Miss Thiel for being principal at Francisco. Thank you very much. Song Lee, please come up. So I first met Song Lee not at Francisco. She was a teacher at my own kid's school, Clareville Lane. And I probably met her a long, long time ago when she was there. She actually was good friends with one of my friends that her kids went to Lilienthal. This is our second year with Song as principal at Francisco. And we had a hard time last year. We had a couple things that were tragedies, and man, when you're a principal and something happens at a school, it's hard. It's hard on everybody, but it's particularly hard on the principal that's there. We had a student, I'm sure most of you have heard, that drowned up at Russian River, and then we had another student, Christy, who got hit by a car. Christy is actually doing okay because I kept in contact with her, but I know it wasn't an easy year for your first year at Francisco, and I just want to thank you for sticking it out and being there for everybody. Thank you very much. Let's see, who am I forgetting? Kenley? Oh my God, he's cleaning dishes somewhere. Come on. Of course, Kyle told my best story about Kenley finding my diamond ring. But I have a few other ones. Some I will not be able to tell because I still see we have students here. And I'm only going to tell one quick story about Ken because I'm actually going to talk to him in a few minutes about, well, he was on the planning committee for here, but Ken was principal at Francisco, of course, and one time he was in the upper yard and someone was coming to look for him. and the person, it was a worker or something, a worker that's, you know, doing whatever, painting or whatever, came up and said, can you tell me where your principal is? And I'm like, yeah, he's over there. And a few minutes later, the guy came back and he's like, I don't see your principal anywhere. And I'm like, my principal is the one that's on the ladder cutting the trees right now. Here's why I love Ken Lee. Ken Lee is not afraid or thinks any job at the school is beneath him. And when you have someone that is willing to do anything at your school for the students, for the teachers, for the families, you have a gold mine. He is one of the most amazing people I have ever met in my life.
I thought you were going to stand.
I just want to thank you for your time being principal there. I love you. Max Gardner, come on up. Okay, so Max Gardner was our IRF. If you don't know what IRF is, sometimes I barely remember what it is, but it's Instructional Reform Facilitator at Francisco for 2 years, and then he decided to take on the job as assistant principal. And he was assistant principal for 1 year, and then he called it quits. No, I'm teasing. Then he went on to become a principal at another school somewhere where he's still, oh no, now he's actually working for Patrick West. That's even scarier. But Max, thank you for everything you did at Francisco. Denora Castro, you still here? Oh, come on. Okay. Kelly Taggart.
That was funny. Got her for a second.
So Kelly Taggart, I can't even remember what year it was now because it was so long ago, was a student teacher at Francisco Middle School. That's when I first met her. And then she came back as a teacher for a long time. Then she left, went and did other stuff, and then she came back as our assistant principal, where she has been for the last, oh God, just 1 year.
It's a hard job, y'all.
Next year, Kelly is going back into the classroom at Francisco. Kelly is one of my good friends. A long time ago when Kelly's kids were little, she said, do you know anybody that would want to babysit? And I said, yes, I know the perfect person. My son's fiance, Erica. Erica was probably 15 years old at the time, and she started babysitting for Kelly and babysat for Kelly for years. So we also have that connection.
The kids love Erica.
Okay. Thank you, Kelly. Amy Adala. I don't even know how many years Amy has been assistant principal at Francisco now. It seems like a long time. You have done an amazing job. And Amy kind of takes care of a lot of stuff at Francisco. Probably not willingly, but just because it falls on her. And Amy is really special. And if you work at that school, you know how special Amy is. Thank you very much. Oh, I know y'all want to go home now, and I'm getting there. Okay. The next group of people that I'm going to talk about very quickly is my PE team. Shane McLennan, please come up. When I started in 1986, I took over for Shane, who was pregnant with her daughter, Lindsay. She went out and left me there by myself with some interesting people at that time. Bob Brown, who was a great PE teacher, Sonny Sanchez, Derry Chin, and Jane Garrity. Bob Brown, who was a famous PE teacher in San Francisco when I first got there, he used to call me doll. If you call someone doll now, you wouldn't have a job anymore. Bob Brown was one of the greatest people I've ever met, along with Benson Wong and his wife Bernie. Bob Brown and his wife Ingrid, I could see on the video dancing at my wedding. Shane and her husband Mike were also on the video dancing at my wedding. Shane McLennan taught at Francisco from 82 to 1999. And the only reason Shane had to go out, again, a student-faculty volleyball game, she blew her knee out. And it never got better, so she had to retire. I learned a lot from Shane when I first started, eventually when she came back after she ditched me with 3 men. But anyway, I was really glad to have taught with her, and we have, of course, continued to stay friends all these years, so thank you very much. The next person is quite new to Francisco, and she's not going to like coming up here at all, and I'm going to love that part about it. Amanda Lassiter, come on up. Okay, in case you don't know this already, Amanda Lassiter, our PE teacher at Francisco, played in the WNBA. When Juliet Suey left last year, or the year before, it was hard for Juliet to leave, but whenever you pick your family over this job, you made a right decision. And that's what Juliet did, and that will always be the right decision that you made. In comes, not exactly at the beginning of the year, we all had to cover Juliet's position for 2 freaking months, but anyway, Amanda Lassiter walks in. And I gotta tell you, she was a breath of fresh air. And we were so glad to have an actual PE teacher. The first thing I was trying to find out is if she had a sense of humor. Because if you don't have a sense of humor in this job, you cannot make it. You just can't. Amanda was amazing. She took over lots of stuff. I taught her how to do like the locker room. And then, of course, I knew I wasn't going to make it for 4 months because I had to go and have my knee redone. Of course, when I told her, her eyes were just in a horrible position. But I explained to her down in the locker room, don't be anybody's friend. Just tell me, get dressed and get out. Don't try to be friends with anyone down there. Nothing has ever happened in the locker room at Francisco Middle School. Because I tell the kids, I don't know where you're going to dress for the rest of the school year, but if I see any graffiti or anyone touches anyone, hurts anyone, or says anything, you're going to be dressed over in the principal's office. Nothing ever happens in the girls' locker room. So I explain all this to Amanda. I come back 4 months later, nothing ever happened in the girls' locker room. I don't know why, but Amanda has decided to stay on at Francisco. And we are all so grateful that you came in at this time. You are an absolute gem at Francisco now, and I love you. So some of you are probably wondering why Jack Dunn isn't here tonight. And he had some other engagement and couldn't make it, but I just wanted to do a shout out to Jack, who came after Raleigh, who taught with me for quite a long time too, who coached a lot of sports. And I'm sorry that he couldn't be here tonight, but just a shout out for Jack Dunn tonight. The next person is Felipe. Are you here? Felipe, come on up. Hurry up, we're in a hurry. Are you joking or really?
He's joking. Come on, man.
Okay, you better be joking. Okay.
Almost there. Almost there. There you go.
Felipe took over for Jack Dunn. He has been at Francisco for 6 years. I actually recruited Felipe. He was at Willie Brown. I know we needed a teacher. And I started contacting him and saying, hey, we have a great team over here at Francisco, can you come? Little did I know, 6 years later, we definitely got someone that I am so grateful for. Secretly, I started working on Felipe to take over as the horrible job of athletic director. I worked on him for a year, told him it's going to be great. You get paid, it's not that bad. Oh my gosh, it's horrible. The physical alone is 17 pages that you have to get people to fill out. The teachers all hate you because the kids are missing class, and they blame you for the schedule. There's a lot of reasons, but somehow he decided to take it over. I helped him the last 2 years. This year he's pretty much on his own, although he still calls me every day. Felipe and I had also team talk during COVID. And COVID was my worst year of teaching ever. Sitting at home and not being with the kids and not seeing anybody. And in my garage, because my family said I was too loud, I had to go downstairs. It was a hard year, but Felipe and I team taught together, and we actually had a wonderful time. If you taught during COVID, PE, it was interesting. Hardly anyone came on screen. They were probably eating ice cream, laughing at us, exercising. Some of the kids, no one even laughed at this stuff, but the other kids didn't laugh, but some of our kids wore like adult men's pajamas to exercise in. You know, like the kind that's buttoned down with the pants, and nobody ever laughed at it because the year was so weird. It was just the strangest year ever. Anyway, Felipe, it's where Felipe and I really got to know each other. Of course, we also taught the high school class for Mr. West together, which was another exciting adventure. Anyway, I want to thank Felipe, and actually Tony too, when Tony comes up. This year was really hard for me to start the year. My knee was terrible, it was killing me, I knew I wasn't going to make it. And Amanda and Tony and Felipe carried me this year so that I could finish this school year. And I am so grateful for all of it. Okay, next person, Tony Catalini. Tony Catalini has been at Francisco for 16 years now. He actually took over for Raleigh Candy. And I have this belief where I don't like it when someone says you have to fill somebody else's shoes. You never have to fill anybody else's shoes. You're going to fill your own shoes with whatever you do. So when Tony Catalini came, he put every single thing into this job for the last 16 years. Yeah. He is the first person to get to school in the morning. He's the first person to leave, but he's the first person to get to school in the morning. Time to throw in, Tony. We're good friends. He has done so much for our PE department. quiet. He doesn't take any accolades or anything. But over the last, when you work with someone for 16 years, you get to know each other. You get to know their strengths. They get to know your strengths. And working with Tony has been unbelievable. He also, of course, San Francisco Unified has no subs now. So every time we need a class covered, it doesn't matter, it's not a PE class, it's another class. Tony Cataline covers that class. Every single one. When he retires, he's gonna have a fortune. Because if anyone needs help retiring in the next few years, I have a one-on-one personal person at the counselor's office now. Retirement is very difficult to get all the paperwork done. But when you do all this, Ron and John know this, when you do all this extra coaching and athletic director and you sub, all that money goes into a different fund for you, and you get that money for the rest of your life. I mean, it's amazing. So keep subbing. Thank you very much. Okay, last person is little Miss Suey. Come on up, Miss Suey. So Miss Suey sometimes pretends that she's shy, but she really is. Juliet and I worked together for 20 years. 20 years is when I worked for Raleigh. Juliet came after Jack, and for a long time it was Jack, Juliet, Raleigh, and I. Then Jack left, and it was Juliet, Raleigh, and I. Then Jack came back, and it was Jack, Juliet, and I. So Juliet was the staple there for 20 years with me. And we, of course, have a friendship now that even though neither of us are going to be working at Francisco anymore, I know we're still going to stay friends. I appreciate everything that you ever did for me at Francisco. You have a wonderful family. If you don't know Juliet, she's married to Michael Meneses, who's oh my gosh, I forgot to introduce Michael before. He's a teacher at Presidio Middle School. Thank you, Ms. Harrison, for taking all the pictures tonight. I want to thank Juliet because we kind of have the same, like we're pretty strict and we don't let the kids fool around a lot. And we kind of had that same thing where, you know, this is acceptable and this is not acceptable. And I've always appreciated that, Juliet, because I don't put up with a lot of stuff, and neither did she. And I think when she first started teaching, we had that in common, and it worked for us for the whole time. She moved on last year, decided she didn't like getting out at 4 o'clock anymore, which none of us really do. But she moved on to a school that gets out at 3 o'clock now, so she's very happy. And she's also teaching at the school where her son started middle school. So even though I'm saying here, I'm gonna miss you, I know I'm still gonna see you, and thank you for everything you did at Francisco. Okay, I'm almost done. I know it's long. Y'all want to go home.
No, we don't.
Okay.
Keep going.
Okay. The last thing I want to thank is this, you know, I don't know if any of you know what an inner office memo is. It's this envelope and it has like all these lines on it, to, from. I don't even know if they have them in offices because I've never worked in an office, but we have them at school. It's a cheap way of sending something from one school to another. You cross out the name above where it was and then you add the new one on. When Ken first started to talk about doing a meeting, he was walking down the street on Clement Street. He said, come on, we're going to do a planning committee with Liz and Kelly and myself. And he said, come on, we're going to do a planning committee. I wanted to do a bonfire, but he said no. I knew this retirement thing was going to go bad because Ken was walking down the street with an inter-office memo envelope. We sit down at the restaurant, we're all talking, saying hi to each other, and Ken, on an inter-office memo, there's this little red string that goes around the top of it. You have to unwind the string and then you open up the you open up the envelope and you take stuff out. Ken brings all this stuff out and tells us exactly what we're doing for my retirement party. So, can I have the planning committee of Amy, Liz, Kelly, Felipe, and Ken come on up? Ken, Liz, Kelly, Liz, come on up. So, this is the group that organized this evening for me.
It wasn't me.
When I met with Ken, of course I wanted to help because usually I do all the parties and everything at Francisco, but Ken said absolutely not. No. He told me that he has all these different captains. Cindy Sen was a captain. Wilson Skinner was a captain. Michael Guenza was a captain. A captain of what? It was a retirement party. So Ken had all this organized. Kelly, Amy, Felipe, and Liz. Liz did all the invitations, collecting the money. Oh my God, collecting money is the worst thing from a group of people that work in an education in school.
Thanks for being Trump on your RSVPs too.
I want to thank this group tonight, and I'm just going to read a little something before I go out. I'm going to miss all of you that work in this world of education. It is a tough job, but so rewarding. My advice for all of you as you continue on to keep your sense of humor. Find people that appreciate you and also show people that you appreciate them. Always remember in everything you do and every decision you make, the students have to come first. Don't ever let someone tell you it can't be done. Go on to someone else or find another way. Don't let anyone ever talk down to you. You are all worth so much. When I look in this room and I see all these fantastic educators, you guys are all amazing. Always end every conversation or email to parents and guardians. Let me know how I can help your child. You would be amazed at the response you get. Thank you for sharing part of your lives with me. This Francisco community will always hold a special place in my heart, and I will remember this night forever. Thank you, everyone.
We're gonna wait for a few minutes. When I came to Francisco, I won't talk a lot, but I would be doing my job, and Danielle would bring me banana bread, or Starbucks, or cheese and fruit for doing my job. And she is such a special person with such love to give. I've never known somebody to raise so much money, to give to the community, to get buildings named after people. She just does it. Doesn't complain, she just does it. So I've never known anybody like that, and I thank you for all your love and compassion. So, gift number one was a wedding collection necklace. Why are you surprised? And then we have one other gift. This is a very special gift that Danielle can remember all of us by in her time at our wonderful community. Open it! Mr. Stop looking, just open it. Just open it. Mr. Lee also worked with a lot of his connections to help make this super special. It might be compositional, but
You're not leaving yet. Just remember, Danielle needs 2 more comments, so you're gonna have to sit down again.
so she's gonna show this.
To the beach.
Hold it up, hold it up. It's a very special memento.
What is this for? What is it for?
I don't know if there's any historians in here who can tell us what these are used for in our San Francisco buildings. But this is a piece of Danielle's office that she will have with her forever. Remember.
Okay. In my hurry, everyone sit back down. 2 more minutes, sorry. In my hurry to get everything done, I forgot 2 more people. Ryan Cito, come up. Ryan Cito went to Francisco Middle School. He graduated from Galileo, went to college, and then came back to teach in the district. He has coached a million sports at Francisco for me.
Yeah.
He has also done the parking with Felipe and I and Ken. Even though he probably didn't want to, he never says no. So, Ryan, thank you so much for being here. I should have called her up when all the administrators came up. She's already been introduced a couple times tonight. Lorraine, please come up. Lorraine runs a lot more than just our Beacon program. But even though Lorraine has never paid me and has never been one of my bosses, Lorraine has done an amazing job at Francisco for our students. Our before school program, our after school program, all the lunchtime programs that we have in Francisco, she does it all with an amazing group of people, but she is such a hard worker. I just want to make sure I say thank you to her. And that's it. But I'll just let you all know right now, I'm coming into school tomorrow to help Amanda with something. Thank you guys. Good luck to all of you. Thank you so much for coming. Okay. Now I know Ken bribed some of you into helping, so please stay. Thank you.